Hi guys, today I'm going to be making a journal which should be pretty easy to make. What I'm going to be using is a book that I bought at the dollar store. This will be our cover. Some cardstock paper, and this is by the Paper Studio. It's just white cardstock. It's $4.99 and it's acid and linen free, and I really like this. It comes in a pack of 50 pages, and yeah, I really like this paper. Of course, you'll need scissors, and I think I might be using an X-Acto knife. And then I'm going to bind this book. I'm going to be using these, I'm pretty sure they're called book rings. I don't know what else I'm going to be using yet because, it'll just happen as I go along, but this is, so far what I know I'm using. I'm sorry about my voice. I'm sick, so that's why I sound really weird. But okay, so I'm gonna get started. The reason this book should be super easy to make, one, because the binding is very simple, and because I don't have to make a cover. This book from Dollar Tree, Dead Low Tide, I just bought it because I like the color of the cover when you take off this paper thing. And we're only going to be using the front and back of this book. So yeah, I'm going to be cutting this book apart, and yeah, I'm gonna get started. And voila, we have our back and front cover, and you don't even really have to decorate them at all. I haven't decided yet if I want to put gesso on it to make it like a whitewash over them. I'm not sure yet, but I'm going to get started. I'm going to have 24 pieces of paper here, and I'm just going to cut them in half so that I can put them inside the book. So my pages are now cut, but I do want to do like a whitewash over these because, I don't know, I want them to be lighter. So I'm just going to take gesso and a paintbrush and kind of make it look whiter. So I'm going to do that. I juiced some grapefruits, made some grapefruit juice, which I love grapefruit juice. Okay, so now I'm going to punch 2 holes into the spine, and I've already marked where I want them. Sorry, I can barely talk. And I'm going to just do that to both sides. So I'm going to do that right now. I made a mistake. Yeah, my holes for these things were too far into the book, so it won't open all the way. It's annoying. Well, I don't know. I'll have to see what I'm gonna do. So what I'm gonna do to fix this, I'm just gonna kind of cut and make the hole go more to the edge, and then I will glue on some of these little things. I don't know what these things are. and I'll glue it over my circle, over my hole, and then it won't matter how big the hole is. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. You'll see me do it. Okay, so it's the next day, and my voice is more back to normal, which is good. And I went to Hobby Lobby to try and find a hole punch that was smaller than this like average size hole puncher, and couldn't find one. Or I know that they have it, but they were out of stock right now. And now I'm doing a part, I'm doing a step to this process of making this journal that is completely optional, but the white paper was just kind of bugging me. It's too white, it's too perfect. I want it to look like it's aged, or I want it to look, I don't want it to be white. I want it to be cream or like off-white. So I've been working on this piece of paper. I tried to use tea to tea dye it, but I didn't like the color. So I don't mind it around the edges, like so that it can be darker, but I don't want this really dark brown color all over my page. So I have this paint, and this is the Master Touch acrylic paint in dark titanium white, and I really like the shade. So I'm going to mix this with water and just paint over my pages so that they're not pure white, because I don't know, it's just throwing me off. And I'm also going to do that to the covers. I tried to put some tea dye on this one and I don't like it, so I'm going to do this color wash over my covers. I wish I had not gessoed these so much. I didn't video it, but I accidentally poured too much gesso on this cover, so then I used it up on this one, and then they were just, now you can barely see the cover at all. My bad. If you do this and you want to be able to see the cover, don't accidentally pour too much gesso. But yeah, I'm just going to paint all of these so that they are not white, and I'll just fast forward me doing it. Okay, so I fixed my problem with the holes. So the holes that I had on my book were too far into the cover for the size rings that I had, so the book was like this, instead of having a little bit of a gap in between, which is, you know, better so that your book isn't like stuck like this and you can't, you know, bend it all the way back and stuff. So I fixed that by just making the holes a little bigger, so just make sure if you do this that your holes aren't too far into the book. I didn't even think about it. But I like how there's not like a huge gap in between the covers. I like that. So yeah, the cover is done. Also, you don't have to cover the book cover as much as I did. When I bought the book, I thought I really liked the color of the book cover, but when I cut it off, when I started to use it, it just wasn't working for me, so I covered it up a little bit, and then I ended up covering it a lot. But I like how it looks, but it'd be a lot easier if you just like the cover that you bought and you just use that. So my pages are still drying. They're taking forever to dry. So I think what I'm going to do now is glue on some of these to the where the holes are, just to make it look a little cleaner so you don't see where I like cut the holes. So I'm thinking about just like gluing it right there. Let's see. Or maybe using one of these. Oh, that looks nicer. Yeah, maybe I'll hammer one of these in. And here's a little back to it. Oh, and I bought some more of these book rings because they were on sale. So I bought more, and here's what they look like. They're the Paper Studio brand. They're the 1-inch album rings. I like the size because they're not too big and they're not too small, so I like those. And then these, I don't know, I got these at Hobby Lobby as well. I've used these for a couple of journals, but yeah, I think I'm going to hammer that on so that it's just a cleaner look for my ring. Yeah. Maybe I'll just glue it. I don't really need to hammer it to it. Okay, well, I'm going to figure that out and probably video it, so yeah. Oh, and to glue this, I am using glossy accents. I don't know if that'll work. It should, right? I feel like it should. I would use crazy glue or super glue, but I don't have any. So I'm using this. And this is optional too. You don't have to do this, but I just wanted a cleaner hole. So that's what I'm doing. So now that all my paper is finally dry, it took like all day to dry, and it's now more of an off-white tint than white, completely white paper. You can see a difference. See? And I like this a lot better for this journal. So now that my paper's done and I have the holes on my my covers, which came out perfect, I'm going to now punch the holes in my paper. So I'm just going to be finding where I want the holes to be, marking them with the pencil, and then punching them with my regular size hole puncher. So I'm going to get started on that. So now I'm going to just use the rings and put it together. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. So I'm done, and this top ring in this book is pretty weak, so I'm probably gonna, it can like come apart if I just do that, so I'm gonna switch that one out. And the glossy accents did work well to glue these little, I don't know what you call them, but these things down. I I really like how this book looks. Now, I know it's super plain. Okay, I know that like it's not decorated crazy, but if you make this, you could do whatever you want to the cover and the pages. You know, you could decorate it however much you want. But I saw a picture of a journal like this on Pinterest, and it was really plain, and I really liked it, and that's what I was going for. I didn't want to do a bunch of decorating to it. I like it how it looks. And I'm actually not a fan of book rings. Like I've made 2 or 3 other around there journals with book rings, and the rings just bugged me. It felt like the book was not sturdy, or just that it could do this. It bugged me, but I saw it when I saw the picture. I was like, I'm gonna make one, and I like it. I do like it. I like that there's only 2 rings instead of 3, because I don't know, I just like that better. And I like that the pages aren't white, and I just like the overall color. Now, I made this a lot harder than it needed to be because I painted all the pages. You could just, if you don't want pure white pages, you could just buy beige or off-white paper, but I had already cut these and I didn't mind painting them, so I did. But yeah, you could just use any kind of paper and just punch holes and make it a lot easier. And for the book cover, now even though I completely covered it all up, it is still easier than making one because it already has this nice edge that isn't rough looking. Like it's already nice and like paper's folded over it, so that does make it easier. If I had cut a piece of board, cardboard or something, I would have had to wrap paper around it to make it look nice. I've had to do that before. So even though I covered it all up, it was still easier than cutting my own board. And if you wanted, you could just leave your cover the exact way that it is when you bought it. Another step that you could just skip are putting these little metal things in the holes that you put onto your cover. I just put them on there because I already had them, and since the cover is so plain, I wanted like the rings and the holes to look nice. But even though the cover is plain, there's still like stuff going on. I sprayed a bunch of different layers onto the journal, so if you look up close, you can see some stuff. See that it is kind of interesting. It's not just like one plain color. But yeah, I don't think I've ever made such a plain journal, but I like it. So I hope you guys enjoyed watching. It's just a very, very easy journal to make. Of course, I made it harder than it needed to be, but I didn't mind. I enjoy the process of making a journal. I really do. It's fun. But I hope you guys enjoyed watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.